Hey everybody, welcome to the video. This is a video specifically talking about claims and what is a claim. And I have with us the team from Cherokee. And we're just going to talk about claims and what they do and how this may affect you and how this may be something that you want to look into if you are sick and tired of being in this bankruptcy process, like a lot of you guys have told me you are. So with that, we will just dive in. We'll start with Brad, who is on the bottom right here. Brad Max, and start with him. Maybe what is Cherokee? What do you guys do? Go around the table, just a little bit about your professional backgrounds.
Sure. So, by way of background, I was a bankruptcy attorney for more than 11 years, representing debtors, creditors, trustees, and buyers and sellers of bankruptcy claims. I did that for probably too long a period of time. It was not a fun position. And then for the past 25 years almost, I've been, trading distressed debt with a focus on bankruptcy claims, both as a buyer, seller, and trader of claims. As I mentioned, had done this for many decades, and about 4 years ago, myself and Vladimir from Cherokee, and Brian as well, decided it was time to bring trading of bankruptcy claims into the 21st century. And we created Claims Market as a platform where creditors can list claims for sale for a firm offered price on the platform. And we have over 40 onboarded investors in bankruptcy claims who then compete to meet the offered price or provide a price that's acceptable to the seller. In the event that a price is agreed upon, funding is in 48 hours. This is enabled by having standardized documentation that's been approved by the buyer and seller. So there's no delays for diligence. There's no negotiations on the document itself. It's a very efficient process for both the buyer and the seller, and it's been the go-to platform for trading bankruptcy claims, not only in the crypto cases but in other cases as well, from energy, retail, and it really enables sellers to reach a much vaster potential purchaser body than they would if they just waited for somebody to kind of call them up and provide a price to them. We've done the vast majority of transactions in Celsius, Voyager, FTX, BlockFi as a result of our ability to get the highest price and an efficient closing process.
Also, just to add to Brad's points, all of our agreements as well as our prices are actually posted on the Claims Market website. So if you go to the Agreements tab, you could view our simple assignment document along with a walkthrough video of that.
Jean-Luc, do you want to share a little bit about what you do at the team as well?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Jean-Luc. I'm a sales and trading analyst at Cherokee. And I guess one of my main responsibilities is doing the diligence on these claims, which is very important. The spreadsheets, having a look at the transactions, and really speaking with sellers and taking them through the process in a smooth and efficient way.
Just to get some people even up to speed on what is a claim, I'm just going to give my explanation and correct me if I'm wrong. So we are customers of one of these companies. Celsius is most of my audience, Voyager, BlockFi, FTX, etc. Then they go into Chapter 11. Then each of these customers gets a claim of a certain amount, which is usually the amount of your crypto at the date of the bankruptcy petition. And these claims can be sold on a market like yours, which you guys, again, I think you have the highest liquidity. So is that just the overview of exactly what's happening here? So customers can just sell their claim, get out, get liquidity, and just get some cash?
That's exactly it. That's a simplified version, but it's for those people who either want or need some liquidity. We've had people sell claims because they want to take a present value on a claim in FTX or Celsius and take those proceeds and invest in Bitcoin or Ethereum and realize any potential appreciation on a direct basis in crypto. We've also had people who needed the liquidity and were happy that they had the ability to monetize their asset at a market price, at a price that's reached through not a single individual entity, but by the market, and having over 40 buyers of claims compete to find out who the best bidder is. And there's never any fees or costs for a seller to list a claim on the platform. Buyers pay a small fee, and the only obligation for the seller of a claim is to list the claim for an exclusive 10-day period. And the reason for that is that the exclusive offering on the platform is what motivates the sellers to spend the time and resources to review the diligence materials and provide a firm bid on that claim.
I'll just make one point. A lot of, obviously, in the case of Celsius, the court released, and everyone could look this up on docket number 1420. It's basically the conversion rates that the court and the debtor are using to convert these bankruptcy claims into US dollars for any potential future distributions. So a lot of reasons that, people are selling is they want to get the money from their bankruptcy claim and reinvest it in crypto. So right now, I think Bitcoin's trading at around $26,000. And, as of the petition date, July 13, on docket 1420, the price that they're using to convert it into US dollars is $19,881. So, obviously, if someone's selling their claim, even today, and they had one Bitcoin in their account is going to be 19,881, not 26,000. So, a lot of sellers or creditors, rather, they just want out, take that money and reinvest it back into crypto, if that makes sense, or anything else.
And I think one thing that differentiates us a little bit is that we do have the ability to pay in crypto to some of these sellers. So if they do want to receive crypto, the main sort of stable coins or whatever it may be, we can usually provide that.
Okay, so you can actually pay these customers or the sellers in crypto? Is that what you just said?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, we do have a number of buyers of claims who can pay in crypto. For those sellers who require payment in crypto, it does limit to some extent the number of bidders that we might have, but there's still enough bidders on the platform who would pay in crypto to have a competitive process. And so that's definitely a possibility.
So we went over a couple of reasons why some people would even consider selling their claim. I kind of want to just dive into that a little bit more. Jean-Luc, Brian, you did mention some reasons. I mean, some people just literally need the money. They could be at a point in their life when they literally just need some liquidity. Yes, you are selling it at a discount, but you're also gambling on the fact of when are we going to get this money back? How much is the distribution going to be from, a plan sponsor, or we don't really know. So it's about taking all this unknowns and saying, I need money now because maybe I need to, pay the bills, or I want to take that money and invest into the crypto market on my own. Like I want to take a percentage and maybe I think I could grow it faster than waiting for Celsius to get their act together or whatever crypto company you're with to then give the distributions, because we don't know. This could go into later this year or next year. We don't know. And that's part of the uncertainty of this whole process. So I'm definitely not here, and we're not here telling anybody to do anything. This is for educational purposes only. But I just want to give you guys some context again, like why this would be something that some people would want to consider.
Well, that's absolutely true. I mean, everybody's in a different situation. For some people, if they own Apple shares and they want to transition to owning Tesla shares, there's liquidity in place and they can do that. It's the same thing with owning an investment in Celsius, for example. By owning a claim, they can take that investment and convert that into an investment in something of their choosing, as opposed to having this forced investment in Celsius. Liquidity is available, but it's not for everybody. Some people are more than happy to wait out the bankruptcy process. Other people would prefer to have other uses for the value of that claim.
Maybe just going through just a quick explanation of if a creditor wants to sell, what that would look like, what they would do, and how simple it is.
Sure. So in order to sell a claim, a buyer needs to have enough information to bid aggressively on that claim. And so one of the things that we do is create a complete diligence package for the buyer to review so that they can in turn bid aggressively on that claim, having all the information relating to that claim. And so we request that sellers provide us with a copy of the statement of holdings, Schedule F if it's applicable, together with the transaction history showing to what extent there might be deposits and withdrawals within the 90 days prior to the bankruptcy filing. And so that information, we review that, and we can in turn determine where the market would be for that type of claim. Every claim in these cases is different. They have different values based on the size, the potential preference exposure, and the jurisdiction from which the seller resides. And so we could help the seller identify where bids should be coming in and turn list the claim for a somewhat aspirational price, so that if there are aggressive bidders out there that are paying more than where the market is currently, the seller can realize that value. And so, once that's received and we determine, a price that, is agreeable to the seller then signs a simple one-page seller agreement, which is just an agreement to comply with the terms of the platform in the event that they list the claim on the platform. We then provide a simple assignment document. That's the standardized document that all of the onboarded investors and claims have agreed to utilize, and all of the sellers have used that document. I think I can count on two hands the number of sellers who've had material changes to that document out of the over 250 transactions we've done on the platform. And so that document gets signed by the seller. We then list the claim on the platform, and immediately all of the onboarded investors receive notification that this claim is available. It's exclusively listed on the platform for a 10-day period, and the buyers can then spend the time and resources to diligence that claim and provide a firm bid on the platform for the purchase of that claim. Firm bids are then relayed to the sellers. If the buyer accepts the seller's price, transaction is done. They're funded in 48 hours by wire transfer of funds or by crypto. If there's a pricing counterproposal, that's 100% the option of the seller to consider whether or not they want to transact on that counterproposal. The 10-day listing period is very important because it does enable the buyers to spend the time and resources to understand the claim, bid on the claim, without the fear that they're going to spend that time and resources and have the claim disappear on some other platform, or have the seller decide, well, maybe I don't want to sell. And so it's part of what drives the marketplace. It's a 10-day period that can either be extended by a seller, or at the expiration everything is void, and there's never any fees or costs to a seller on the platform.
I would just like to add that, by listing your claim on Claims Market, obviously Brad mentioned you're getting exposure to a little bit over 40 of our qualified buyers all at the same time. Typical hedge funds managing a few $100 million up to into the billions, 30 plus billions. And by listing your claim, all of these sellers, they're listing their claim. And once the claim is listed, an email goes out to every single one of our buyers. So it creates a competitive tension among those buyers. Basically, they're forced to put their best foot forward as soon as possible, resulting in the highest price possible for the seller at that time.
Yeah, that's really important. I think what's cool is somebody puts their claim up for, hey, I want this percent. I want this percent of my claim value. If somebody bids below, the seller can be like, no, I don't want to sell for that low. But if somebody says, yeah, I'll buy it for that price, then within 48 hours, they're going to get their money. So it's very, very quick and professional. There's not a lot of like, oh, are they serious about doing this? Are they kind of tipping their toes in the water from a buyer and seller perspective?
Yeah, and there's no obligation for the seller to sell unless their original asking price is met. So, let's say they listed, Celsius claim at 20, hypothetically, and a bid came in at 19.9, they still don't have to sell. They obviously they have to respond to that lower bid accordingly, and then take it from there.
And Aaron, we've tried to provide full disclosures on the platform. We've tried to provide as much information as possible without kind of overwhelming the information available. But if we could pull up kind of the platform, you'll see that we provide pricing history, transaction history, all of the documentation is available on the platform, both the seller's agreement as well as the simple assignment document. And so I think we're unique in that aspect, that documentation is disclosed, pricing and transaction histories. The thing that really distinguishes Claims Market is that we have all the agreements that would be required on a transaction available for anybody to view. The SAC is the simple assignment of claim document. That's the standard document that's been approved by all of the buyers on the platform. And as I mentioned previously, out of the 250 plus transactions on the platform, very few sellers have ever needed any customization to that document. It's kind of a one size fits all that works very well for everybody. The seller's agreement is that one-page document that the sellers sign in order to comply with the terms of the platform. And then the buyer's agreement is available for people to view as well. And that's the terms that the buyers agree to on the platform. If we go to the prices tab, we have historical pricing for some of the major debtor cases that we're involved in. And so if we go to Celsius, for example, there's the bid-ask spread going back historically. There's a bit of a lag on pricing. For competitive purposes, it's the average bid ask from the week prior. So, while the average bid ask, and we're looking at, for instance, April 21st, for example, there could have been a claim there that had substantial preference exposure, and maybe that traded at 15 cents on the dollar. And maybe there was a larger size clean claim with no preference exposure from a domestic seller, and maybe that traded at 30 cents on the dollar. The bid ask is the average of the claims that transacted the prior week. And so that's important information for sellers to know, to see kind of the general trends of where pricing is going, where it's been. And then if we go to the transactions tab, this is one of the more interesting tabs, I think, on the platform. This shows the total number of transactions we've done, the number of transactions, and the different debtor entities where the transactions have been done. As Brian mentioned just today, we did almost a $2.6 million Celsius transaction, and we've lately done transactions in BlockFi, Voyager, and FTX. All of these cases are actively traded. All of these cases have deep buyer interest and a competitive landscape for listing claims. You could also see, for example, how long these claims were listed. The Celsius claim was listed on the 15th and it traded on the 18th. BlockFi, this is a transaction that's been around for a while. And finally, there was a determination on price earlier this week for this BlockFi claim. The Voyager claim, the $1 million claim, traded the same day it was listed. So, as I mentioned earlier, every claim is different. Every claim has different facts and circumstances, which results in different buyer interest and different pricing for each claim. The beauty of the platform is for each individual claim, it locates the best bidder, the best buyer for that individual claim based on the facts and circumstances of that claim. So while, one bidder might be the best buyer for one type of claim, another might be the best bidder for, a claim that has other issues, if they have preference or if the claim might be located in a jurisdiction outside of the US. And so, it's a great way to kind of canvass the market to see who's going to be the best bidder for any particular claim that's offered.
And on the transactions tab, if some creditors are interested in seeing all of the, Celsius transactions that we have conducted on the claims market platform, the sold, listed, lead debtor, minimum claim amount, those are all sortable fields on the website. So you could just, hit lead debtor and sort it to basically see every single Celsius transaction all grouped together.
Brian, do you want to walk, Aaron through the explainer videos and the other information we have on the landing page on the platform?
Yeah, sure. So, obviously, as Brad mentioned, our simple assignment document is up on the site. Maybe Brad, just click under the agreements and you could point out to exactly where creditors could view our, believe it's like a 4 or 5 minute brief explainer video on YouTube. So under agreements, you click SAC, and then you could view the actual assignment document that we use, as well as that video we have.
Right. The explainer video is here under how it works. And so the explainer video is kind of an overall view of the platform. We also have an explainer video of the simple assignment document, and seller's agreement, as mentioned, is listed. There's also FAQ that are available here. And then, of course, myself, Brian, and Jean-Luc are always available by phone, email, Telegram, or otherwise to interact with sellers, to address any questions they might have, any concerns they might have, to go over documentation. We are generally available.
And then one additional point on the videos, claims market, we actually do have a YouTube channel where these videos are posted to, and some additional videos with different discussions that we've had with different investors, and a few videos that Brad's involved with also.
Part of the reason why we've done, probably more than 90% of the share of transactions in all of these cases is that, sellers have questions. Sellers don't have bankruptcy claims every day. They don't sell claims every day. And we walk them through the process, show them what's available, show them how it's done. And they absolutely need to be comfortable to sell a claim in order to move forward. We help them kind of understand the terminology, the transaction, the pricing, and a lot of it's available on our platform. And it's always kind of subsidized by conversations and discussions as well.
There's a couple of other points which might be good to ask, I guess. Really two things were on my mind is, if you're a seller domiciled outside of the US, does that affect the marketability of the claim? And then also, what is preference, and like how significant is preference risk with regards to pricing?
I'll take on Jean-Luc's first question, and then I could let Brad discuss preference. Certain investors do have a preference for purchasing claims from creditors who are here based in the United States. It's just a little bit easier to diligence, KYC, know your customer requirements. However, we do have buyers who are also buying claims from, people in India, people in China. So if you are a creditor and you're located in Hong Kong or, somewhere in India, we are still definitely interested in working with you to list your claim and get you the best price possible. Just wanted to make that clear that we are purchasing claims from international holders as well.
Preference is a topic that attorneys can spend volumes writing about and discussing. As you know, preference effectively is a withdrawal of value within 90 days prior to the bankruptcy filing date. There are a number of defenses, and there are a number of other issues that relate to preference when it comes to different cases. Celsius, has a waiver of preferences under 100,000, or at least that's anticipated to be incorporated into the final plan. Other cases like FTX, preference might not even be an issue in the event that the accounts never became property of the estate. All that being said, preference is a codified issue in the bankruptcy code. It is real, and debtors and unsecured creditors committees do and have recovered substantial amounts of value through preference or clawback from these creditors. A creditor might say, well, if I sell my claim, they're never going to get my money. I'm going to go hide in Russia or North Korea or something. And, the issue is that the debtor can always set off on distributions on claims. Somebody who bought the claim in anticipation of getting the recoveries distributed to similar creditors in the case. And if there's a preference and a set off on distributions, they're not going to receive what they bargained for. And so they are going to look at preferences very carefully and calculate that into the purchase price of the claim. And so claims that have significant preference may have substantially reduced value from a buyer's perspective.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So if you do have preference and you still want to sell your claim, it doesn't mean that you can't. It just means that will be factored in, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming on and making this video, educating my audience on you guys, what you guys do, the claim process, and just giving people the info to make informed and educated decisions on what they want to do with their claims and their finances. So thank you all again for coming on, and I will leave all the links to everything we talked about in the description below.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you, Aaron.
Thank you. Have a nice day.